Eric, I have a question on conflict because for a long time I struggled to understand the passage of the Gita in which Arjuna tells Krishna that he doesn't want to fight against his family. And Krishna replied that there is no other choice for him and yet to fight.
Yes.
And I listened to a talk of yours and that became clear to me. That is my ego that wants to avoid conflict, to become stronger. And I kind of understood it intellectually, but then emotionally I struggled to see it as you said today, like a game, like a play, like something that I can enjoy being in the moment, playing it. And so I try to maybe build images around when I'm into that of something that I enjoy doing, but that is I don't know. I think there is a better way to deal with that.
Krishna is a self, Arjuna is a mind. So the mind has difficulty to face certain things which don't go according to his own value. So the mind wants to do what is pleasant and don't want to do what is difficult. So the self, life, in a certain way, force you to face what is happening. Why? Because there is no choice. So the mind submits to the self. So, but it's not something which the mind cannot do it. Only the self can submit the mind. So don't try to be like Arjuna, because to be like Arjuna, you must be Krishna, that means consciousness, awaken in ourselves. So there is no point to try to act in a free way when we're not free. So the Gita just gives you the information that when you live in listening, the self will make the mind obey the fact, which we don't want to do, because the mind wants to do what is nice and not to do what is not nice. And Arjuna would rather meditate or do yoga than to kill his cousin and to kill his master of all, and so on and so on. But he is a Kshatriya on the battlefield. He was trained for that. He should do his. He should live according to his dharma. It's not personal. So it's not something you can imitate. Arjuna can do it because Krishna is there. The mind can do it when the self, when the consciousness is awakened. So Arjuna listened to Krishna. So the mind must listen to the awareness. So if the mind becomes passive of intention, passive of direction, passive of knowledge, the mind can be space in which the self can reflect itself. So in Arjuna, the voice of Krishna, the voice of the self reflect, and in this reflection the mind becomes secondary to life and act according to the self. So this is not something one can imitate. So you understand the Gita, you live this understanding, but never try to be Arjuna as long as you don't have the ability to listen to Krishna, I mean the consciousness. So in daily life, there's nothing to fabricate, there's nothing to pretend. Just how you function. Sometimes I would say you're open to life. There's something you have to do, you're not very happy about it, but you do it anyway. You have a dog, good dog needs to go out, It's called you rather make love with your girlfriend, but what you do, you go out with a dog because you have a dog and so on. So it is very functional. Or you want to do yoga in the morning where you have a young child, you need to play with the child. You play with the child, even if you rather do yoga. So slowly, in the way the mind will become more and more at ease with doing what is functional and not doing what is so-called prefer. Up to the moment when you realize that actually what the mind prefers is to be passive, is to be functional. There's nothing more happy than to do what you have to do. But of course the mind resists because the mind was educated in doing what is pleasant for me and not doing and avoiding what is difficult for me. That's called education. So you teach the children that way, society teaches the children that way. This is nice, you should do that, this is not nice, you should not do that. So of course all this education, all this transmission of the parents, all this make it difficult for the mind to come to this equality, which it does what he has to do and not what he wants to do. So it's not again something you have to do, but just something you discover in yourself. Sometimes you, in a situation which is not too difficult for you, you're open and you don't want to do it, but you do it anyway. It's natural. You want to go out this evening and your child doesn't want to stay alone, but you don't go out. It's light. In another situation, you know you have to do that and you really don't want to do it. And it's okay. You just see how you function. See that your mind is not attuned with the evidence. You know it, but you cannot go against it, and you don't go against it. You know you should not drink, and you drink. You know you should not sleep with this person, and you do it. You know you should not do that, you do it. And it's okay, we all function like that. But you become more and more aware of this pattern. Only awareness can reinstate globality, never decision. So it is humility, it is surrendering to your limit, to your pattern, which makes them more clear. And when the patterns are really clear, slowly they will reduce themselves and they will go according to your abilities. So the functionality is simply to be more and more present to how you function. But don't try to face life with no intention, because as long as Krishna is not there, there's no point pretending to be Arjuna. But Krishna is awareness. Arjuna is a resisting mind. The mind resists, but the mind can listen to. And at some point the evidence is stronger than the resistance. And then the mind will comply with the fact. And then actually the mind then can find its real place, because the mind is a servant of the self, to the real place of a human being, being a servant of the surrounding. You're not there to do what you like, you're there to do what is needed. Only in that feeling of service-ness, you can find your own center, your own equality. But this happens by itself. When it does happen, and sometimes you cannot do it, it's okay, you resist, you see, you know you have to do that and you don't do it, and it's okay. When you don't do it, that means you should not do it because there's no mistake in life. So the resistance of Arjuna is part of life. It's not something which is which has to be changed. It does change in the Gita, but the resistance of Arjuna, the teaching of Krishna, and the acting of Arjuna as a fighter, all these are on the same level. They are on the level of the expression of consciousness. Nothing is better. So in the play of the Krishna, in the play of the Gita, the cowardness of Arjuna, the resisting of Arjuna, has the same beauty that when he takes his bow and fight. He was due to fail, and he was due to fight. Nothing is better, actually. So, when you see that you're escaping something, when you see you're refusing something, you must accept it. Arjuna accepts his limitation, but he listened to Krishna. So you accept your limitation, and this listening of your limitation, this acceptation, is actually listening to the self. Because to see that you're wrong, you must be in the right position. When I see my arrogance, it is a moment of humility. So when I see that I resist, this very thing is clarity. So it is only in totally accepting my limit that the awareness, which Krishna stands for, can really be experienced. And from that, eventually the play goes on in the form of action. So there is no difference. We must accept, because the ego thinks that one is better than another. But Arjuna is not wrong when he refuses to fight, he's not right when he fights. But they're all same, it's the same play. Just the time makes a difference. But time is a way of speaking. It doesn't exist as such. So the Gita must be seen as a oneness. It's not something which happens in time. It expresses itself in time. It's consciousness, it's refusing, it's accepting, it's acting. But all these things actually happen in one moment. For the sake of the play, it is expressed in time, in duration, weakness and strength. But actually it is the same thing. So when you see you functioning, you must accept it. Acceptation, if you limit, is listening to the self. So the moment I want to change my limit, it is imagination. I want to create imaginary freedom. So seeing the limit is the only act possible for a human being. And it's not something you do, it is what you are. In a moment of organic moment, the limit appears to you. Nothing to change it, you don't want to free yourself from them, you just give yourself to the listening. And again, when you listen to your limit, this listening is consciousness. So the limit brings you back to consciousness. So no room for any doing, no room for undertaking any exercise to change that, but simply to abide deeper and deeper to seeing the fact. See when you refuse, see when you hesitate, maybe I do this, maybe this is better. Just see how you function. There's no need to change anything. There's no mistake in the creation that you must change. So seeing is only action. Doing is a fantasy.